Hey traders, it's Rod with the VPT room recap. Today is Thursday, October 30th, 2014, the day before Halloween. So there's a old saying in Wall Street, I don't know if it's old, that the rookies or the amateurs open and the pros close, meaning that the close is more important than the open. I don't know if I agree with any of that, but certainly this week and really for the last, I'd say, 8 to 9 sessions, the afternoon session and the closing range has been where all the action is. So we've had a couple days here where it really wasn't that interesting while the room was open. Certainly we were favoring the upside a little bit, or we were fading some levels and seeing a strong market led today by Visa, which we'll talk about. But the afternoon ramp today caught me by surprise. Just another strong ramp up in all the indices, and again led by Visa. So let's take a look at it together. In my notes here, a couple things I wanted to highlight: IWM, Apple, Nugget, UGAZ, and gold. So let's just go ahead and do that. We'll start with IWM. We still do have a position on the short side, and as we can see here on the daily, we're now above all of our moving averages and clearly looking like we want to challenge this pivot up here of 117.80. So have those in a couple different accounts at the 111 and 112 level, and that's now, let's see, at least $2-3 out of the money. But here's a good thing, folks, and we've been talking about this. On the RSI, clearly way overbought, so we don't have divergence because we're making some new highs in this cycle. We're making a new high on the RSI, so price is following along pretty closely with that indicator there. But on our 31 period ATR on the daily, we're up here at $2. So that's something I absolutely like. You've heard us talking about in the room, if your strikes are within striking distance, and they certainly are, meaning that in any given day we can see a 1 or 2% move. What we don't want to have is just we stall out here. We have both theta decay as well as delta. But again, given the fact that we have such a high ATR, don't mind being on the short side here. These are very low cost options at this point. So holding those in IWM, we've traded around it a little bit. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple was an interesting one today. Had to be pretty nimble on that because that was a similar story that we have here. So we're well above this trend line that we've drawn in here. Again, real nice looking chart, obviously. So you got to pick your spots pretty carefully on the short side. We had some questions about why not buy the pullback on the calls. You can certainly do that. We need a pullback to the moving to our trend line here. So since we haven't had that, we were playing the fade a little bit. And today in the room, we're able to pick up the 105 puts. Again, our ATR here is $2. So folks, on any given day, $2 is the ATR. So we could move down to 105 as easily as up to 109 and make some new highs. So we were able to pick up the 105 puts, bottom at a dime, and sold them at 16 cents and 22 and 23 cents, and picked them back up a little while later back at 10 cents. So it's essentially a free trade. So if we have some sort of sell-off tomorrow, we could really make out okay. If not, even if they expire worthless, we've made some good money on the short side. So sort of threading the needle there on Apple. Now I want to take a look at GLD, playing this mostly through Nugget, but interesting here, we have a swing level down at 114.42. As you can see here, swing low way oversold. The RSI is buried. It's at 2 on our it's at 3 on our 3-period RSI, and we also have a decent amount of directional movement on a daily basis of $1. So very simple play here. The double bottom down at 114.55. It looks very clear that that's where they're gunning for. Silver got absolutely destroyed today. I mean, this is just massive moves in silver. So the commodities are way out of favor. We say this all the time, and it rings true, which is things exceed to the downside and they overshoot to the upside. So I think that's what we're seeing here in silver, but I'm going to wait for a confirmation back up here. I'd rather be a buyer back up above the 21 period than chase this down here. I have, along with a lot of people, not done well on some of the long plays in the metals and the commodities this year. So we're going to lay off that there on silver. We're playing gold through Nugget. Not a real. We did our last ad here today, a little bit above 13. So we're long that. Have not done any repair strategies with the options to cover any of those positions, meaning write any covered calls or sell some puts against it. Selling puts would be a more aggressive strategy in the sense that we have to have the margin to do that. So watch your Twitter feed and join, and make sure you're in the room tomorrow, and we'll talk more about managing the rest of this particular gold trade. All right, let's go back to, let me see. So I covered IWM, Nugget, UGAZ. popped a little bit. Let's see where UGAS finished off. Have a little bit of a core position left in UGAS. Yeah, so approaching 12. I was out a lot of it today at 11:30, and then I have a core swing position left in UGAS. Not a lot going on in the futures markets today. I took home a YM short that you can see right here, just small size, a single contract. Let's take a look at why and what's going on here. Again, trend traders, much easier to buy the pullbacks to our trend line here. We have not touched our 233 period EMA. This is on a 39-minute chart on the YM. We haven't been there since way back. You can see how we're bouncing nicely off our trend line here, but we haven't really touched there. That's the last time we touched the 233 EMA. So on a mean reversion, simply, I like a pullback back to this. We'll take some profits on that. But very possibly the push for all-time highs again. That's going to extend the distance between our moving average and these all-time highs. I could certainly see that. 100 points these days is no big deal. Our ATR is still 226. So took home a little small short position in the YM, looking to fade a move back here. Not holding any other swing positions in any other futures accounts, just that, and you can see we traded a little bit of small size there. So let's take a quick look at how we're doing month to date. We'll finish it off since Todd's been doing most of the reviews for a while. So again, folks, this is a blended portfolio of 2 futures accounts and 1 options account, total value of around $75,000, and it's up, let's see, about 8,600. And these are all the trades that are taken and talked about in the VPT live trade room. So what can we do there? Nothing. So nice little upward. We had a drawdown here and popped it back up, and now pulling back a little bit here, and we got one more day in the month. Tomorrow, Halloween. We'll see you tomorrow on the VPT Live. On this page, you can also find out more about how you can join us. We're on the 2nd tier of our charter membership program. We trade options, stocks, and futures in real time for 3 hours every morning. And trust me, there have been some exciting mornings. Just the last week or so, it's been all about the afternoons. Hopefully this recap happens. Trade them up tomorrow. This is Rod with VPT Live. Reminding you to always trade like you mean it. Have a great evening. Thanks.